We're off and trotting. Come along the clubhouse chair. Just getting off the baseball diamond. I got it set in front mode. Follow on the beacon. Somehow I got it in slow motion when I'm flying. I thought it over. I probably have it set to 1K, 4K 60 on the drone app. I'll have to turn that down to 30. Otherwise, you're going to get this slow motion. And if you're watching it in slow motion, after a few minutes or a few seconds even, you'll get bored and you won't follow to the end. And the end brings you to the guy I'm talking to, only for about 5 minutes, but as I did that, it went on pause. Still watched me. Didn't go anywhere, but just sat there and watched. Then as I leave, off I go. It usually follows me under the trees and out the other side, but I didn't realize it was on pause. I looked at the thing and it says continue, so I hit continue, and all of a sudden you hear it, but it's not following me. It's going somewhere else, up and over, I think, the trees. That's what I was guessing at the time. I could hear it, but I couldn't see it. So I'm a little panicked. Okay, it's up there somewhere. I'll just keep going out the other side and see what happens. So now I've got about a 200 feet scootle through the trees, now to the sidewalk. When I get to the sidewalk, I can still hear it zooming around. It's making different noises. When it hits high speed, it's a little louder than just normal speed. But all of a sudden, boop, there it is, about 30 feet out and 30 feet up. It sees me and stops for a second. I guess it's looking around to see what's around. I carry on. And it's like that more or less for the next couple of 100 yards up to my street. Follows me out, and I want to see that video again where it did that through the trees. I didn't see that yet. That should be amazing. How it makes GPS. It's like it's following. It's on its own. It's trying to figure where. It knows it's there. I've got the GPS on, and it's got the GPS hooked to me. Even if you're behind a tree, it still knows you're there, and that's what it did. Give me. I'm still on the baseball diamond. See, that's why nobody will stick around. It takes too long. You have to work that out on the app. I can do that after I do this. I got the drone right in front of me. But as we carry on, here we go to the street. Or not the street, it's a little trail in Greenbelt. They call it the Greenbelt Trail. Like I gotta pass somebody here. Yeah. Just a tootling along. When we get down here, there's some trees in the corner. There's the corner coming up. Gets a little bigger at the bottom. This is just a hill coming down. I think this is where the people pass. Or I'm thinking of another video. Thought it was here. Yeah, there's a road going that way. So I must have passed them somewhere. And I carry on. But it's still up a little high. I don't know why. I must have touched something to get by those people. Send it up a little higher. But eventually it comes back down again. After I talk to those people. When I get to the end of this trail, well, actually I turn off this trail and onto a road, but it goes the same way as the trail. I get up to Sun Valley. Sawmill Valley Road. I go there all the time. I can't remember the name. I get up to there, and now it shoots up 30 feet. I guess it knows it's a road and probably sees cars coming. I don't know. But it shot up a little bit and finally settled down again when I got onto the Skydio, I think it was. Just about. Actually, after that, I talked to the guy. Got back down to the normal space where I said it. Yeah. It's just boogieing along here. My friend, he's doing blogs too. He's a China blogger, but he had to leave China to get his driver's license and passport renewed back in the States. And they said he can't come back in until this COVID thing is all over. China just kicked out all the expats that are there doing teaching and other jobs. They're all out of there too for some reason. There's like, the last I heard, there's about 3,000 expats being sent home. Some of them have been there like 15 years. The one girl, she says her both kids grew up in China. They were born in the United States, but they've lived in China all their lives. They know China perfect, or Chinese perfect, and all that kind of stuff. But there she is. She's being sent home. But anyway, Matt, he's there. And he was in the Czech Republic. They're getting an incumbent bike. It's one of those three-wheelers you lie down on kind of thing. And it's custom built. Been shipped now back to the States. Had a little bit of a trip going there. You have to watch his video, Jayoe, on YouTube, or Matt Galat. Matt, and Galat is Gallat. That's another interesting. He rode around the U.S., or not the U.S., Europe and South Asia on that bike, 15,000 kilometers, or miles, one of those two. And all through China. He married a Chinese girl. He has a little girl, Eva. I think she's about 3 or 4 now. But he's been 15 years. Good to have money to do that. You just ride around on your bike and around the world. You know, he's doing he's got the bike rebuilt, new one, and bought a van. And he's getting that customized, and he's going to do a van life tour from North America, from Alaska down into somewhere into South America, and come back, and then over to Europe and drive it over to China. I wonder how he's going to do that, but he's going to do it. I know him. He's got a way in the ways. I guess he's making lots of money on YouTube. I hear some of them making big bucks. So that's probably how he's getting his money. He's always on YouTube. A lot of viewers. I have got a few viewers, but not very many. And you got about 130 or 40, something like that. I still got a long way to go, and I'm 66, so I'll be dead before I ever get any money. I won't make it that far, I don't think, unless I get a lot of subscribers really quick. If you're watching this, and you've got YouTube, go to my channel, Qin Dynasty, Qin Dynasty, and put in the word drone, otherwise you get the family story from, they built the wall and all that stuff. The first emperor of China. She's related to the first emperor of China, my wife, so for me that's like a big thing. While being related to the Qin Dynasty. So I'm related to the Qin Dynasty. I've met about 714 of them, I think they said the last count was, of all the visits I've had there. Everybody wants in on the picture. They got to touch my belly like I'm a Buddha or something like that. They call me General Bill, even though I was a corporal in the army. I don't know why they call me General, but that's what it is. And every day was a meal. Like twice a day, you go to different restaurants with like 20-foot screens. One day was a NBA game on, watching that. And 6 tables of relatives. And wow. I thought every day this is going on for like 2 weeks. And I'm saying, like, at one point, you know, you don't have to do this for me. And they said, no, we do this every day. This is the way of life in China. All the family gets together and we share the meal, pay for it, and everybody eats happy. The homes all have tiny little kitchens that are like stovetop, like 2-burner stovetop things you plug into the wall. And no ovens. Nobody likes an oven. And they got this thing, it's a gas burner, like blast. Like it makes those bottom of that wok red hot. That's how they cook. I tried to get them to get me a steak one day. I showed him a picture. He took it over to some butcher and come back. It was a T-bone steak, but it was like they used an axe to cut it off. The T-bone was there, but the meat was like zigzag and everything. And I ended up cutting it up into tiny little pieces, swishing it around, and we threw gravy on it with some rice. There was a meal. Try that. Any kind of good beef, chop it up into, like really tiny pieces, not very big, but small, but like we would make chopped onions, a little maybe bigger, but small pieces. Cooks around all 4 sides, 6 sides, I guess, or 6 sides. And then throw in some gravy, let that get nice and hot, and then pour that on top of some rice. Mix it in, and away you go. You can add some onions too, if you like green onions or regular onions. I usually put that in with the steak when I'm cooking it. But what a meal, I've been eating that ever since. They even served it on the plane on the way home. That's where, how you say, new. My brother-in-law, he's somebody big at the airport. I don't know what his actual position is, but we have to give, the day we were leaving the last time, it was, you had to be there. They wanted you 2 to 3 hours on time so you could get checked in and all that stuff through that kind of bullshit. We did that, and like, we're leaving, and now we've only got about an hour to get there, and I'm panicked, because he says 3 hours, and my wife's saying, don't worry, and everything. We get there, we park in a spot right by the front door. As we get to the front door, we go in, and he says, have a seat there. He walks over to the counters. It's like 30 or 40 counters, like thousands of people, maybe 2,000 people, all checking in. And the first 2 or 3 counters were empty. Nobody doing anything there. So he walks in and around some corner, comes out, and there he is at the first one. I said, well, he must work here. That's when I first found out he was working there. Pulls out some key, I guess, turns it on, like that, and away we go. He comes back, okay, let's go. He brings us over to this little snack bar thing out around the corner from the main crowd. Had a little bit of a small lunch, I guess. I had a Coke, and I forget what else it was, French fries. A little tiny meal anyway. But you're sitting there for about half hour, 45 minutes. And the plane's supposed to be leaving in like 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes. And I said, are we going to make it? I'm still panicked. And he comes around the corner, him and his wife works there too, and they lead us on. We come down these hallways, there's nobody in the hallways, just carry on. And all of a sudden there's that little ramp that you go to the plane. I'm like, okay, where's everybody? I get down to the plane, step on it, and the whole plane is there, full. Everybody's sitting down. I get on and I'm going to get the first seat, the first 3 seats on the right-hand side of the plane. And how good is that? Everybody's on the plane waiting for me. Love that. Gotta like that brother-in-law. But that's what we did. And away we go. Oh, it looks like I'm coming on the street here. Here, watch this. I hit a bump, and the speaker bounces out of the front there. I thought it broke, but it lived. It was still playing. I had to back up and get it. But that was some kind of a bump. Just bounce, and away I go. And up to it is. It took a few seconds to pick it up. I had to find a little handle thing. It already broke the handle thing from popped out of one side, so you can't handle it like a handle. I got one the same on the back seat. Like one in the front, one in the back. They're synced. 70 watts. When it's playing full blast, you hear me coming. That's what I do. I'm the music man of Summerhill South in Newmarket. And off we go. Bentley's okay now. He's ready to go. Just getting him out and over here. Yep, there we go. Everything's fine. Look over my shoulder, see where the drone is, and now it's going to figure out which way I'm going. It should be in front of me. It does get in front of me. There we go. And off we go. Now it gets back down to 7 feet, 8 feet in front of me and 8 feet up. Just a bit over head level. And I cruise up the street. It's Colton. This is it's like an L-shaped street. It comes down this one and hangs her left, and all the way down to the Joe Persiccone. Use it all the time going to the GO station, or coming home from the GO station, or TNT grocery store from Chinese place that my wife uses. But this is one of those streets you use as a shortcut. This will bring me up to the school. Almost. I gotta go over half a block or so. We pass the society first and then pull into the school. And then I bump into that guy. That's another video. These 50 questions. Where do I get one? How much are they? How does it fly like that? That was the first question. He thought, he'd seen me before, and he didn't see me flying it before. He says, am I flying it, or is there somebody else following me? And I just told him, no, you set it up back in the beginning, push a button, and it flies autonomously. It's got a mind of its own and knows how to fly. Sees where it's going, where it's coming from. Has no mistakes. I always get worried that it's going to crash into something when you see it going backwards. It's going backwards, right? But it's got eyes in the back of its head, top and bottom. So it doesn't miss a thing. You see it bobbing around, missing trees and poles and people. That's cool. There's one of those streets that I gotta pass. I just let it play for now. You don't have to hear me talking about it. I think I've said about it much, probably said it twice. But, well, there's a guy turning left. Is he? Or is he just parked? Yeah, it looks like he's just parked. Get some people to stop and look at it and hit you with 50 questions. One thing about droners, we're a friendly lot. We're willing to answer questions. I had a cop about 2 weeks ago now. He followed me up basically the same route I'm going now, but I wasn't on the school. I was just on Colton, coming up from the school office, Joe Persiccone. He follows me up. We go around the corner. We get up here. Then I pull into the schoolyard. And he pulls in behind me and does a little blank blank on their little horn thing there. I turn around and look as I'm on the sidewalk. He's on the parking lot drive-through for the school kids to go out, and when they're going to school, they just drop them off point. I thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And he says, I've been following you. That's when he said that. I thought I'd been in trouble. I've been following you for a couple of blocks now. How does that thing do that? Is somebody following you? Like, same thing as the other guy says. Who's following me? Is somebody following me, or am I flying it? Because he doesn't see me flying anything. I don't have anything in my hands. I had it in my shirt pocket at the time. And I said, no, it's flies by itself. And I just set it up and he follows me. And then he wants to know what kind it is, where can you get one, and all that kind of stuff. And I said, no problem. I give him all the information. I said, but you're wasting my battery. I said, well, this one, they only go for about 27 minutes. And after you get it set up, it probably only got about 25, 24. And I want to try to make it to my house. I can do that, no problem, but just don't talk too much. That was fun. So I got a cop on my side that likes drones. He wants to get one. Pretty much everybody that talks to me has to have one. My whole neighborhood's going to be drone city eventually. There's a kid there. He's back at the schoolyard, baseball diamond area. He lives on Burgess. He's 3D printer. He uses them to make the little frames and everything else that they got to put on them. And he's a wizard. You see, like, he doesn't have no GPS on his little FPV drone. Like those little ones that you see whizzing around at about 90 miles an hour. And some of them can do 120. Wow. But he's flying his around. I'm at the first, or he's at the first time, and I'm at the second time in the bottom. And he said he buzzed off, and he's down my way, but all of a sudden he hears it as a drone that I guess I was above him, and he's wondering where'd that come from. So I eventually heard him, because I'm wondering why is the way over there, why do I hear it over here? And then I said, oh, there's a guy over there. So I went over to talk to him, and he gives me the story. But the next time I see him, like I said, it's a baseball field where the people sit, like the players, that little dugout thing where you walk in one side and go through it and come out the back into the regular world out the baseball field. But he could fly that thing through that door, hang a left, hang right out the other door, and like he was holding onto it and running with it in his hand. Just zip, zip, boom, just like that. I thought he was going to hit my head, but no. How do you fly like that? No, it's spatial awareness. When you're flying with the mask on, you can see basically where you are. Like you just gotta know how to do it. And I guess that's a trick. See, here's where I went. I got to the end of the street, and it went up. I'm way down there, and I'm hanging a right. But I guess it knew. Just got to get up and out of the way in case something comes until I get there. Nothing came, so here it comes back down again. And then I carry on. And this is Sawmill Valley Road. Little trail I used most of the time. I would have come back up that one, but I was worried about the Bentley in the trees and that. And you see that on your right? It's on your left too, but I don't think you can see it. Right where that walkway is, basically, on the left. You see a little clear spot. Yeah. And on the right, you see it coming up. Crosswalks, the one on the right. Yeah, there it is. Just past this tree. Not far away. Yeah, it's on slow motion for sure. Yeah, there it is. That's the one coming out to the left. I missed it. Must have been the driveway I was looking at. That's the pathway coming out the left. There's the driveway on the right, and then the pathway comes down. It goes down a hill and zigzags through trees that are overhead even. When you're going through it, that's my panic on that one. But the last time I went down both ways, there and back, it made it out. There it is right there, just right to that crosswalk. Like a Bentley, eh? Just totaling along like there's not a care in the world. No hurry. You can see that guy slow down to look at it, eh? Everybody slows down to have a look. This is where it is. And you see my hand. You don't see it in my hand, the little beacon thing. Or it's in my pocket, one or the other. But right here, I think I'm carrying it in my hand because my pockets were full. You can't say enough about that beacon. Yeah. Just that right now we got in slow motion. And that's the only problem with the whole video. Nobody's going to watch it because it's slow. They might skip to the next one. That's going to be slow too. What can you do when you live in a shoe? Move to a high-rise boot. There's society on the left. I live in a society. But he lives on society. There's a guy up there, he's got a dog like Bentley. It died just recently. It was the hunting version, I've got the show version. So he goes and gets another one, it's a female this time. Same hunting version. I said, I wish I'd have known you were going to buy a new one. I would have sent you to my lady that does the show versions. They're bred for temperament and all that good stuff. Nothing's better than Bentley. But now mine's the old dog and his is a new puppy. So it's like mine all over again, but with him. I just bring Bentley over. We'll go to the park and he can let the thing off the leash and Bentley's not going to go anywhere. Like when Bentley was a puppy, his dog was 6 years old and it would just follow him. And I'd take Bentley off the leash and he wouldn't go anywhere. Just stay with that dog. And I said, that's the trick. If they're off the leash with the guy, you can let yours off the leash. And I stay put. Look at old Bentley there, just popping along like a horse almost, clippity-clomp, clippity-clomp. There's the schoolyard driveway. Oh no, there's a few houses, I guess. Yeah, that's what it is. Where's that guy coming out? Yeah, he's coming out. I think he's watching the drone. He's still sitting there. He didn't come right, he went left. There I am going into the school now. Yeah, there we go. Driving up. Whip, whip, shippity. The only problem with this video was shot in slow motion somehow. I have to figure that one out. I got the drone out, so I can set that up. I think the battery is full now. Yeah, the battery is done. So I don't need that anymore. I can take that out. The room. There we go. Drone back in the case. See, we're still in the driveway. This is where the cop pulled me over that time. I was sitting in here. I had to put in another battery because he talked to me too long. It's on another video, I think, somewhere. I cut it off. I should have had it in there, but I couldn't see his car. I was too far over. So, should have got it on, turned it off, and just got him talking to me. That would have been nice. Next time. And out here I just go over along the path over to the splash pad. Past the splash pad. And I should be doing another video after that with the flyover. And I'll leave it here. Let you watch the rest of it on silence.